My boyfriend was broke, but I stuck by him anyway. In the 2 years we were together, the only gift he ever gave me was a $2 hair tie. Then one day, I saw him casually gifting a Ferrari to some Instagram influencer. Turns out he wasn't some penniless nobody. One night, I froze outside a VIP room, tray in hand. Inside was Joao. For a second, I thought I was wrong. He wore a tailored suit, radiating an unfamiliar aura of wealth. This wasn't the Joao I knew. He had his arm around a woman, a gorgeous influencer with millions of followers. My breath hitched. I remembered the night before, Joao holding me close, whispering, "Babe, I'm so lucky to have you. I love you so much." The influencer dangled a car key, cooing, "Thank you so much, Joao. I don't know how I'll ever repay you." The room erupted in cheers. "Marry him," someone yelled. "Kiss. Kiss." They kissed. I went numb, like I'd been struck by lightning. I handed my tray to a coworker and fled. In the bathroom, I sobbed, biting my hand. We'd been together for 2 years, and all he'd ever given me was that cheap scrunchie. He claimed his family was poor. His mom was gone, his dad had a stroke, and he had younger siblings to support. I felt for him. I understood his pressure. So I took care of him. We lived in a tiny apartment. I paid the rent, utilities, and groceries. His paycheck supposedly went to his family. He'd even get insecure about his situation. "Babe, do you think I'm a loser for being broke?" he'd ask. "You'll stay with me, right? You won't leave." I'd always reassure him, "It's okay. We'll work hard, and things will get better." He'd promise, "Babe, I'll make enough money to marry you, buy you a huge diamond ring, a big house, and you won't have to work anymore." Thinking about his promises, my heart twisted. I left the bar, telling the manager I was sick. Back home, I cried myself to sleep. Joao came home after midnight, crawled into bed, and hugged me. "Sorry, babe. The boss made us work late." He knew I had a second job, but not where. I smelled perfume on him, my nails digging into my palms. When I didn't respond, he kissed my cheek. "Babe, what's wrong? Are you mad I'm late?" I choked back tears, afraid he'd hear. "No, just not feeling well." I finally managed. Until I knew why he was lying, I had to pretend. He touched my forehead. "No fever. Go to sleep, babe. You'll feel better tomorrow." I clenched my jaw, tears silently streaming. The next day I left early for work, my eyes puffy. Joao texted, "Babe, why didn't you call in sick?" I stared at his message, my vision blurring. "I'm fine now," I replied. "Eat breakfast, babe. Love you." I bit my lip, my heart bleeding. "Joao, if you loved me, you wouldn't be kissing other women. A Ferrari." I couldn't even dream of that. That night, I went back to the bar where I knew he'd claim he was working late. He showed up, ordering bottles of champagne worth thousands. At home, we agonized over ordering takeout. At restaurants, we only ordered vegetables, too afraid to splurge on meat. I delivered his drinks. He still sat in the center, the influencer by his side. My coworkers whispered about the wealthy men in that room, all deferring to Joao like he was some big shot. In my uniform, heavy makeup, and a mask hidden in the dim light, Joao didn't recognize me. I overheard their conversation. Joao was the heir to the Carvalho Corporation, worth billions. No dead mom, no sick dad, no struggling siblings. All lies. Then I heard someone ask Joao, "Are you still with that broke girl Mariana?" Another chimed in, "You've been stringing her along for 2 years. Don't tell me you actually fell for her." Joao scoffed. "Fall for her? That cheap, tacky girl. She's not even fit to be my maid." My heart shattered. I looked at my rough hands, calloused from work and chores. My most expensive possession was my second-hand phone. Then I looked at the influencer, her skin flawless, her clothes designer. We were worlds apart. I wasn't even good enough to be his maid. "Then why not dump her?" someone asked. Joao smirked. "When I'm done playing with her," he continued. "She's such a clueless idiot." I casually mentioned a Patek Philippe watch, and now she's saving up to buy me one. She eats ramen every day, wears cheap clothes, and gets excited over a $2 scrunchie. He added cruelly, "She's like a dirty, used rag, good for wiping your shoes." The influencer giggled. "Don't insult yourself, Joao, by even comparing yourself to that kind of trash." He stroked her hand. "Of course, darling. She's not fit to lick your boots." The room roared with laughter. Joao laughed too, his eyes filled with contempt. I clutched my chest, barely breathing, my limbs trembling. A dirty, used rag. I looked at the scrunchie on my wrist, biting my lip. I pretended to love it because I didn't want to hurt his pride. What girl wouldn't want a real gift from her boyfriend? He twisted my sincerity into a joke. I stumbled, accidentally stepping on the influencer's foot.
She slapped me.
You clumsy idiot. Watch where you're going. I apologized, head bowed. But she poked my head, screaming, "Get on your knees and apologize." Several guys shoved me. "How dare you disrespect our queen?" "Kneel." I fought back tears. "I'm sorry," I whispered. I had stepped on her foot. Lost in the chaos, Joao didn't recognize my voice. "Enough, Victoria. Don't waste your time on a waitress. It's beneath you." He glanced at me with disgust. "Get out." His condescending tone crushed me. I scrambled to my feet and ran, tears finally bursting forth as I sobbed outside the bar. All his love was a lie. I remembered meeting Joao. I was leaving work late when some guys tried to drag me into an alley. Joao intervened, fighting them off, getting bruised and battered in the process. His injuries warmed my heart. As an orphan, I had never felt protected. Joao felt like salvation. Grateful, I took him to dinner. He confessed his feelings and we started dating. I thought I had found love. He was handsome, seemingly devoted, and a hard worker. For 2 years, I sacrificed everything for him. I woke up early to make him breakfast. I nursed him through fevers, terrified he'd need me and I wouldn't be there. And what did he do? Nothing but sweet talk and empty promises. He was right about one thing. I was stupid. Stupid for being so thoroughly deceived. I stumbled home, numb. Joao was sitting on the couch, wearing the faded matching t-shirt I had bought him. He stood up as I entered. "Babe, my coworkers took me out for barbecue. I brought some home for you." He pointed to the takeout and a 6-pack of beer, grinning. "The boss gave us this." He looked so thrilled, like he'd won the lottery. I stared at him, remembering him ordering $1,000 champagne without blinking. My bonus was $200 this month. Awesome, right? When I didn't respond, he tried to hug me. "Babe, what's wrong?" The memory of his kiss with the influencer made my stomach churn. I doubled over, dry heaving. I hadn't eaten all day. He knelt beside me, worried. "Babe, are you sick? Let's go to the hospital." His concern felt like a cruel joke. If I hadn't seen the truth, I would have fallen for it. I shoved the barbecue and beer into the trash. He frantically retrieved them. "What are you doing? This was expensive." I closed my eyes. How long would he keep up the act? I opened Amazon, showing him a bottle of toner I had been eyeing but couldn't afford. "I want this. Can you buy it for me?" He looked at the price, slapped his forehead, and said, "I'm sorry, babe. I'm so useless I can't even buy you what you want." So sincere, so remorseful. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. A $25 bottle of toner was too expensive, but a Ferrari was nothing. In his eyes, I was a cheap woman, unworthy of even basic skincare, and I treated him like a king. I laughed, tears streaming down my face. He thought I was crying because he couldn't buy me the toner. "Babe, don't be sad. I'll save up, okay?"
"Don't cry," he promised.
"When I make more money, I'll buy you anything you want, even if it costs $100. He added softly, "Your tears break my heart." His tender words brought back the sting of his insults, his disdain. The way he had looked at me like trash when the influencer demanded I kneel. He was a monster. I pushed him away, my eyes blazing. "We're breaking up." Panic filled his eyes. "Don't be mad. I'll save up next month, okay, babes?" I wanted to rip off his mask. I wiped my tears, my throat raw. "Joao Carvalho, I'm just a dirty used rag, right? Why bother lying anymore?" I didn't expect him to respond. In fact, I was prepared for him to deny everything, to try twisting the truth as he always did. But to my surprise, he said nothing. He stood there, eyes wide and mouth slightly open, as if the words had frozen in his throat. That's when I realized something. He knew he was cornered. I had finally seen Joao's true face. His silence was the last straw. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy laugh. It was bitter, sharp, full of pain and disdain. "You're not even going to try to explain?" I asked, my voice trembling. Not with sadness, but with anger. "You're not even going to pretend this is all a misunderstanding? That you love me, and everything I heard was just one big mistake?" He took a step back, raising his hands like he was defending himself. "Babe, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like." I interrupted, my voice rising. I saw it with my own eyes, Joao. I heard you say I'm a dirty, used rag. I heard you laugh at me, at everything I sacrificed for you. And now you have the audacity to stand there and act like you can fix this with another lie. He tried stepping closer, but I raised my hand, pointing at him like a stop sign. Not another step, I shouted. I want you out of my house.
Now.
Babe, please, he begged, his voice finally showing a trace of desperation. I can explain. I was drunk. I didn't know what I was saying. Oh, of course, you were drunk, I mocked, crossing my arms. Because being drunk is the perfect excuse for humiliating the person you supposedly love, right?
It wasn't just what you said, Joao.
It was the way you said it, the way you looked at me. Like I was nothing. Less than nothing. He dropped to his knees on the floor, grabbing my hands.
Please, babe.
I made a mistake. I was an idiot. But I love you. I've always loved you. You've always loved me? I spat the words like poison. Is that why you gave a Ferrari to that influencer? Why you lied about your family, your life, everything? You manipulated me, Joao. You made me feel sorry for you, made me sacrifice everything, while you lived a double life as some spoiled billionaire. You think that's love? I pushed him away, pulling my hands free from his grip. He fell back, sitting on the floor, his eyes locked on mine, not with regret, but something else. Something he couldn't hide. Arrogance. The certainty that somehow he could still control me. You're not going anywhere, he said, his voice suddenly cold, missing the pleading tone from before. This house? Everything you have? It's mine because you wouldn't be anything without me. I laughed again, this time louder, harder. Nothing without you? Joao, have you forgotten who paid the rent for 2 years? Who worked 2 jobs to keep this house running while you sat around, spending money on other women? I'm the only reason you had a roof over your head while you pretended to be broke. He tried to stand, but I was faster. You know what's funny? I continued, my voice sharp. While you were laughing at me with your friends, I was here, thinking about how I could save more to help you. I gave up basic necessities to make sure you had everything. And, you know what I just realized?
I'm not the dirty, used rag, Joao.
You are. The words hit him like a slap. For the first time, he had nothing to say. He just stared at me, and I saw something else flash in his eyes. Fear. He knew I was serious. You have until tomorrow morning to leave, I finished, my voice firm. And don't think for a second that I'm going to let you manipulate me again. Because from now on, I'm taking care of myself. I'm living my life without carrying the weight of your pathetic existence. He tried to speak, but I didn't let him. I opened the door and pointed outside. Get out.
Now.
He hesitated, but finally stood up. He grabbed his things, and before leaving, he looked at me one last time, as if hoping I'd change my mind. I didn't. I simply closed the door in his face. That night, I sat on the couch with a bottle of wine I'd been saving for a special occasion. Because honestly, the end of that toxic relationship deserved a celebration. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt something I thought I'd forgotten. Peace. Looking back, I realized I was blind. That I ignored all the signs because I wanted to believe the best in someone who only saw me as a tool. But never again. Never again will I let anyone treat me like that. Because, in the end, I deserve so much more than he could ever offer. And now, finally, I'm free. I was determined to leave it all behind. I didn't want to think about Joao, his lies, his humiliations, or the years I'd wasted with him. But as the days passed, the sense of injustice gnawed at me. He had used me, manipulated me, and tossed me aside like trash, all while continuing his luxurious life without any consequences. I needed to let it out. One sleepless night, I grabbed my phone and wrote everything down on an anonymous forum. I didn't use names, just shared the story as it happened. How he pretended to be poor, how I supported him for 2 years, and how I discovered his true identity at the bar, where he publicly degraded me while flaunting his wealth with an influencer. It was a long post, but each word felt like lifting a weight off my chest. I didn't expect anything. I just needed to vent. The next day, everything changed. My post had gone viral. Thousands of people were commenting, sharing, outraged by what they had read. Some curious users pieced together the clues, investigated, and uncovered Joao's identity. It didn't take long for his name to be tied to the story, and his reputation began to crumble. People started sharing details about him. Photos of lavish parties, extravagant trips, gifts for other women. Comments flooded social media, calling him a liar, manipulator, and an exploiter. The influencer he was dating got dragged into the controversy, and the internet caught fire. Some people began tagging his family's company, questioning how someone so devoid of character could represent such a prominent corporation. As all this unfolded, messages started pouring in. Some were supportive, others offered advice. Among them, a lawyer reached out. He told me that, based on what I described, we had grounds to sue Joao. You lived with him for 2 years. That qualifies as a common law relationship in many places. And considering he hid his true financial status while you supported him, you can claim half of the assets acquired during that time. I was stunned. I never thought of that. As much as I wanted justice, I feared what might come with a legal battle. Joao was wealthy, powerful, and would undoubtedly use his resources to intimidate me. But on the other hand, I deserved some compensation for the years I'd sacrificed for him. I spoke with the lawyer, who assured me we had a solid case. He explained that there was enough evidence to prove we had lived together and that I had been deceived about his financial situation. With the story going viral, there was no shortage of witnesses and even evidence like rent receipts and messages where he made financial promises he never kept. I decided to move forward with the lawsuit. The following months were a whirlwind. Joao, of course, tried to intimidate me. His lawyers sent threatening letters, claiming I was defaming him and demanding that I drop the case. But with my lawyer's support and the encouragement of countless people who continued to rally behind me online, I stood my ground. During the hearings, it became clear that he had no solid defense. The evidence was irrefutable. I paid the rent, the bills, while he spent money on parties and expensive gifts for others. The highlight came when the judge recognized our common law relationship and ruled that I was entitled to half of the assets he had acquired during the time we lived together. It wasn't his entire fortune, but it was enough to change my life. Joao was furious, but there was nothing he could do. When the lawsuit was finally over, I felt as though I had closed a chapter of my life. With the money, I started investing in myself. I opened my own business, something I had always dreamed of, and began building a new life. Most importantly, I learned to prioritize my happiness. As for Joao, he lost far more than money. His reputation was in ruins. His family's company began distancing themselves from him to protect their image. The influencer he was dating publicly dumped him, stating she didn't want to associate her personal brand with a toxic man. He tried to rebuild, but people don't forget easily. In the end, it wasn't about the money. It was about justice. It was about proving that no one has the right to treat another person the way he treated me. And for the first time in a long while, I felt truly free.